Mom. Dad. Juliet. Nui. All right, and we are back. That was our new intro song. I hope you liked it.
That's a great intro song.
That was a great intro song. Just hearing it now.
It was so cute.
She's so cute.
Yeah, when we were filming it.
That was, I think, the third take, right?
Yeah, the third take.
That was pretty good. And the first two, she got pretty. Like the first one, she had no clue what was going on.
Yeah, she was
second
just like,
one, I
"Why
think
are you
she
singing
didn't
at me?"
say Nuo or Juliet.
Yeah, or
And then
Et.
Et, yeah.
As good as
That's
she
so
gets.
cute. She calls herself Et.
Yeah.
I feel like her name is probably one of the hardest baby names.
Yeah, it's quite hard for her to say.
Up there with Zarbon.
I don't know, though. Her best friend's called Everest, and she manages to say that.
Everest.
That's 3 syllables, in case you're wondering.
Everest.
Yeah, see?
4.
4.
Whereas Juliet is,
Juliet's
it's just
3.
it's
too.
just harder to say. I don't know. You got to be like a linguist.
I think it's just a lot of like different mouth movements. She hasn't mastered like a Jew sound.
That's because we're not anti-Semitic in this house.
Yeah.
I don't know if
They're
that makes
actually
sense.
pro-Jew.
We're pro-Jew. Yeah, that actually was super fun. I hope
Yeah.
you guys enjoyed that. That was a good clip, and we have an outro clip too. So
Yeah.
stick around for that.
If you want to hear that.
So okay, we got a few things going on. 13 weeks in a row here. Massive.
Yeah.
Massive. That's awesome. And another big thing we got going on here. Do you want to do a drum roll? This is a huge thing. You're going to be super excited as soon as I say this. We are getting rid of Person of the Week.
Thank fuck.
Yeah, that's officially it. We're cutting you off cold turkey. There's no more Person of the Week. But we are replacing it with a new segment.
Dun, dun, dun.
What are we calling it? Canada This Week?
This week in Canada.
This Week in Canada. So we are going to be scouring the internet for news from Canada and trying to find just any funny headlines and presenting them to you. So, Neve, you got some today, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll do them later, but you do have them?
Well, why don't we do them now? We just introduced
No, because
them.
then everyone will hear the new segment and leave.
then
You got to
leave.
hang around for at
Okay,
least
fine,
4 to
sure.
5 hours before we get into the
Fine.
new segment. And oh, you guys do not want to know what I want to rant about today, so it's going to be a
Oh
long.
my god. It's what our podcast is turning into. It's just you ranting about shit.
You know what I think about stuff?
It should be called the Grumpy Old Man Podcast.
The Grumpy Middle-Aged Man podcast.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, thank you. No, I'm trying to think where I want to take this podcast today.
I've got some stuff.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, I just want to. I was thinking about it today, and there's quite a few different rants I could have gone on. And when I say rants, like
Yeah.
nothing like crazy, but you know what? We'll start with you because I got to decide still.
Because you got to decide which thing you're going to rant about today.
Yeah, but I want to lean on more of the positive side. I don't want to say one of them's negative. It's just not like as uplifting as the other. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay, well, I don't have anything to rant about, but how crazy is this? Oh, actually, you know what? I do have one thing to rant about. So I'll start with that. So it was the 1st of April on Tuesday, and it was April Fool's Day, obviously, right? And I'd forgot it was April Fool's Day, but here's the thing. April Fool's Day was on a Tuesday. And not only was it a Tuesday, it was Taco Tuesday. Like, I think it's once a month we do Taco Tuesday at my work. And it's basically we have like a star chart. So it says Taco Tuesday on the wall. And if you fuck up, they take a letter away. So if we have at least one letter by the end of the month, then we get tacos.
So you can fuck up once a week.
Well, no, because it's for everyone in the whole company.
So what's a fuck up?
Well, it's not even like a fuck up. It's just like being lazy. It's like you don't
Oh,
put your tools away, or
okay,
like
okay.
you leave something like garbage on like a machine or something, or you don't put stuff away, or the
Right,
fire
right.
lanes aren't
Okay,
clean. You know,
okay.
stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
okay? Like manufacturing stuff, not just like fucking up at work.
I'm like picturing like an explosion, and they're like, "We have to evacuate. Call the bomb squad."
We only have the tea left. Um anyway, yeah, so it was Taco Tuesday, and we'd had our letters, and we all got to order tacos from the taqueria, which is also in the same unit as us, and they do really good food as
Yes,
well.
they do.
Um, so it was Taco Tuesday. We'd already put our orders in. I didn't take lunch to work because I knew it was Taco Tuesday, so I knew I was good. And we've been having this electrical upgrade at work. So my boss sends out a message on the Tuesday morning being like, "Oh, because of this electrical upgrade, the taco place, their equipment isn't working, so we're not getting tacos today." And I I felt a type of way about it.
I would have
Like
lost my
I
mind.
at like initially I was like, "Oh no, that's such a bummer." And then someone reminded me it was 1st of April, and I was like, "Oh, it's a joke." But then it was the email was to everyone, and then so many people chimed in on this email chain being like, "Yeah, I can confirm like the taco place says they're not doing our taco order and all of this stuff."
What?
And then but then people were fighting back like, no, 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 it's definitely a joke. So this whole like email thread was going on, and my emotions were just a roller coaster.
No
Honestly,
kidding. I
yeah.
can
I was
imagine.
like, oh no, it was a joke. Oh no, it's real. And like I was really going through it.
So
It turns out it was a joke, and we did get our tacos. But honestly, that first like hour at work was just a ride for me.
yeah, because I would have literally, if that was like I'm in your shoes, I would have been like, okay, so there's no tacos, so lunch bucket, I guess. Is that where you're taking us? Is it now lunch bucket Tuesday?
Bargain Bucket
Barg-
Tuesday.
Have you been to lunch bucket?
No. Oh, what, the little restaurant there? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Of
that place is
course,
great.
it's right there.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what it used to be, but I love now the Asian dudes that smoke cigarettes outside. They're like the
It's
guys.
classic. Yeah.
But I don't think it used to be owned by old Asian dudes that smoke cigarettes outside.
Oh, really?
I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think it. But I like it more now.
I like it more now.
The guy was
It's just a greasy spoon place. So.
yeah, like and he's just like outside smoking cigarettes. There's two of them. And
Yeah.
they're just like quietly staring at the mountain smoking cigarettes, and I was like, all right. And I
Yeah.
walk inside, and then there's no one there, and they walk in, and then the guy's just like, what do you want? And I was like, an egg sandwich. Like, so it's so basic but that's what I can't get over is
Yeah.
like it's so easy to make the things that Lunch Bucket makes. It's but that's kind of what makes it so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally just your like sandwiches, soups,
So,
toasties.
what kind of tacos did you get now that we're
I
in
actually
there?
got a quesadilla.
It's not Quesadilla Tuesday. What
I know,
the
but it's a
fuck?
Mexican place, and I'm not big on tacos. So.
Okay, yeah, I was listening to someone talk about this, and I am gonna agree with what they said. I am a big sell on traditional Mexican tacos, the one with the corn tortillas, and it's like two
Tortillas.
tortillas
Yeah.
in it. I do not like those tacos. I always find they're wet, and I don't like corn tortillas.
Yeah, fair.
And so that's it for the week. All right, I hope you all had a
And
good
we're
time.
out. Also, while we're here, um, instead of drinking wine, as is traditional with our Pancake Friday, we're doing a cider Pancake Friday today. And I found a place that does these certain ciders that I used to get in England all the time. They're a brand from Sweden,
Oh, okay, cool.
and they're called Recordling. And you can get this stuff on tap in England, and they do like all different flavors. But I wanted to get Derek trying his first Recordling on the pod.
All right, I'll do that for sure. I had to laugh. You go like, oh, it's this one, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh, where's that name? Interesting. And then you go right away. You're like Sweden. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I wonder if it's imported. And I like lean a little forward, and it just says in big letters,
Import.
imported.
Yeah, of course it's imported. It's from Sweden.
Yeah, that's a new thing on the pods, just in general. I'm introducing a versus series.
Okay.
And the versus series, it's just literally all it is anything. Like you and me could do one on Pancake Friday. It could be three
Yeah.
person circle. It could it's and all it is just versus anything. It could be fried chicken. It could be instant ramen noodles. So we got to get better at kind of doing on air tasting and like bringing
Okay,
to our
well, taste the
fans.
cider right now.
Okay, well, first I gotta finish this Somerby pear. That I think is my favorite one. Pear,
Somersby?
yeah, I think pear cider is my favorite.
I love pear cider, yeah.
A close second is apple ginger with a heavy ginger.
Yeah, the Lone Tree one.
Yes.
So good.
All right, here we go. 1 second, just for you guys.
This okay, now also while you're drinking this, you got to picture it was like a sunny day like today and you get off work and you go straight to the pub. Oh, that was nice. And in England you can bring the whole family to the pub. So we're all at the pub. You're sat in a beer garden. Juliet's playing on a swing and you get one of these to your table. Normally if you get it from a can, they'll have ice, but you can also get them from the
Ooh,
tap.
I like the color. It's like pink. It's
Yeah, it's
super
pink.
nice pink. It's not that cidery pink you
No, it
usually
looks
see.
like squash.
All right.
And this is the, what is it, the strawberry lime flavor?
Oh, damn. Yeah, these are real good.
Real good, huh?
Damn, yeah. Okay, it's definitely, so this one's a strawberry lime. Mm-hmm. It's got good fruit flavor. It doesn't taste
It's light
sugary.
though, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's sugary or sweet, but it's not like, I don't know, Somersby is like heavy sweet.
I find like this kind of tastes like soda water with a bit of flavor, but it's also cider and alcohol.
That
so
is really nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I've for the listeners out there, when we went to England, it changed my whole perspective on ciders. So, I grew up having a terrible stomach for any beer. And when I was first legal drinking age and everything, it was like here had like Budweiser, Kokanee, Stella, were like the imports, Heineken and stuff.
Yeah.
But beer and all the drinking now is so much crazier than it was. Like even 10 years ago, 15 years ago, like 2010, everything was so generic, excuse me. And now it's so diverse.
Yeah.
So I always drank beer and I would throw up, and I'm not going to say every time wasn't like, oh, I was never drunk. I just threw up. Like, obviously I drank too much sometimes, but there'd be times where we'd be at like Zach's and I'd drink like 3 beer and just chunny.
Gluten baby.
Yeah, and like I was just so like beer upset my stomach so much. And then when we went to England, I had really got into the whole craft beer scene because it still upset my stomach a bit, but it wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
But craft beer is so heavy and like,
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like eating chocolate cake all the time or
Yeah,
like
I agree.
rich
Yeah.
things. And then I was like kind of like meh on it, but I was doing it because it was fun to go to the breweries. But then I got into the sours, and sours was something. I'll drink sours; they're okay. But really, what I wanted was ciders. But I only thought cowards drank them, and
Cowards drink
I thought
ciders.
just cowards did, and it was because like here there's no good ciders.
Yeah.
And then when we went to England, there's like a whole culture,
Especially
of it.
Somerset.
Yeah,
Especially where I'm from is like the home of cider.
And I love it. And since we've returned, I've drank so many more ciders, and it's just my game. I think one of the best ciders I'm going to recommend to people is the apple pie cider at Angry Otter. I don't know.
Oh,
It's
I
not
enjoyed
from
that.
there, but that's the only place I've got it, and it tastes so good. It tastes like an apple pie, and you'll be like, oh, but all ciders have apple. No, they don't taste like apple pie. They taste like apple.
Yeah, I feel like that would be super sweet though.
I don't know. You don't. You
I'll
must
have to try it.
It's good.
For sure,
It's.
but
I liked it.
I can't have like shit like Strongbow, like it's just so sweet, or Magners I can't do, which are both English ciders, but Thatcher's, which you can't get over here, is insane, and then they do Thatcher's Haze, which is like a cloudy apple cider, and it's so good.
I don't like anything dry. I hate whenever it says for descriptions of alcohol dry.
Yeah, see, I'm with a little bit with you on that. Like, I don't like stuff like gin because I think gin's really dry. Especially like gin and tonic, I think is the most disgusting thing anyone could drink.
Okay.
And then there's like dry white wines and stuff I don't fuck with, but I do like a dry prosecco.
I just feel like I wonder if my opinion of dry would change if we didn't use the word dry to describe liquid. It just like I don't know. I just wonder if you use like instead you were like,
Bitter?
oh, this is bit sure or heavy, like just something that it just for me when I am drinking and I hear the word dry, it just so like I don't know. It's just I wish that wasn't how they described it.
What word would you rather they use?
Well, like I mean,
Not wet.
I'm not saying I'm the most sophisticated
Unwetted.
guy, but I know more than these snobs. These culinary experts, air quotes. Yeah, no, I don't have anything better. I just don't like the use of the word dry.
Yeah,
That's all
fair.
I'm just gonna lean on
Valid.
that, okay? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to go with something else?
Yeah, keep going. I'm enjoying this.
Okay.
This is nice.
So, you and I have been watching White Lotus. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I literally, Derek just went to the store to get milk for the baby. And while Derek was at the store, I looked up the cast of White Lotus. You know who the fucking dude is? The dad?
Voldemort.
Not Voldemort. Malfoy. Lucius Malfoy from Harry Potter. Draco Malfoy's dad.
Poor dude.
Yeah. It's crazy though, right?
That's crazy.
Can you see it now though?
Absolutely.
Like
yeah.
with the long blonde hair.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Second crazy thing. His son. You know who that is?
Which one?
The older one.
Okay, who?
Do you know who that is?
Wait, let me think for a second. Is he in a comedy?
No.
I have no clue.
It's Arnold Schwarzenegger's son.
What?
Yeah, how random is that?
Oh, that's
That's crazy, right?
That's cool. I like that.
It's dope.
I wish
Yeah,
he
super
imagined
dope.
somehow he's like, hello. Like, it's both Arnold.
Imagine just the end of the season. He's the one that shoots up the place, and then he's like, "I'll be back." White Lotus just turns into a Terminator franchise.
Is the like this Sunday's the finale? I think, right?
No, there's 2 more. I think.
So there's 10 episodes of the season.
9.
9, because okay.
9? We just watched 7 was last.
Wow.
Yeah, the last one.
Yeah, I gotta say, I got a little antsy, but the show has been good. The only thing I'll say I don't like about White Lotus is it just gives me this weird, like, low-key anxiety the entire show.
Yeah.
And then when I think of every single season, nothing happens that's so crazy to warrant the amount of anxiety you have.
I know.
Like, think of all that, like, stuff happens. Like,
Yeah.
what's her name? Spoilers for people that haven't seen the first 2 seasons. Lisa Kudrow, or what's her name?
Jennifer Coolidge.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Coolidge.
Coolidge. Her character dies, but it's not this, like, scary thriller moment,
Yeah.
right? It's like, it's just kind of like with the flow of the story. Yet I find I'm like, every episode, I'm like, oh my God, I just need something crazy to happen so I can relax because nothing crazy is happening.
That's what they're really good at though. White Lotus, the creators are so good at building tension and making you think something's like completely not at all what it is. Like
They do
every
a good
single
job of
season,
that.
they've just done that so well.
Yeah, no, it's a great show. Why don't we talk about a bit of last episode, like, or should we not? Because it
No, I didn't think
you
we
don't want to
should
ruin it for
because
people.
yeah, you don't want to
Okay,
ruin it for
that's
people.
fair.
Um, okay, I've got one more thing on my list, and then we can move on to your stuff. So the last thing on my list is I wrote Eminem versus Tom Hanks.
Tell me more.
so, so the reason I wrote this is so I'm listening to The Green Mile right now, which is a film, Tom Hanks film, right?
Wait, it's a book?
It's a book. It's a book by Stephen King.
What the?
Yeah. I've never seen the film. Have you seen the
There's
film?
so many crazy things coming together. Stephen King, Tom Hanks, a
Eminem.
book, Eminem, The Green Mile,
No.
Hollywood. Oh my God, they did it! I knew it.
So, but the thing was, I haven't seen the Green Mile. I've never seen it before.
I just know that black dude cries in it.
Yeah, okay. So I was shocked when I saw that it was a Stephen King book, because there's a ton of stuff that's Stephen King books that I had no idea was Stephen King books, and The Green Mile was one of them. So I was like, oh, I'll listen to this. It should be really interesting. It's one of his only ones that isn't like a true horror as well. So I'm listening to it, and I'm listening to it, and then I'm like, oh, this isn't at all what I thought it was going to be. And it's because I thought it was going to be 8 Mile, which I also haven't seen. But I'm like listening to this book, and I'm like halfway through, and I'm like, I wonder which part Eminem plays.
Oh, no. This seems a little off for Eminem. When did he start rapping?
I was so confused, and then I realized it was a completely different movie. There's Tom Hanks in The Green Mile and Eminem in 8 Mile.
I've not seen it.
I haven't seen either.
8 Mile's really good.
Is it about
Eminem.
death row?
No.
Oh, okay.
There
That's what The Green Mile's
It's
about.
understandable how it's confusing because the death row might also have a lot of people that rap there.
Well, it also might be 8 miles long. You don't know.
Fair. I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to leave that one. First off, that's hilarious.
It was so stupid. And I actually asked someone. That's the most embarrassing part. I'm like, yeah, I'm listening to The Green Mile. It's a Stephen King book, which I didn't know. That's cool. And I'm just wondering, like, what part does Eminem play?
What did they say?
And Kanan, who's the accountant that I work like the closest with, he's just like looking at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like, yeah, I swear I was like, I swear it's a film with Eminem. And he's like, you mean Tom Hanks? And I'm like, no, I swear it's Eminem. And then we figured out it was.
Where's Kanan
8
from?
Mile.
He's
Turkey.
He's
like,
Turkish. You're like, Kanan, you wouldn't understand.
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
like, Eminem.
This is a North American thing. Okay. I used to think that cocaine was a bad drug, and then you found out that basically one of the most famous novelists of all time, in Stephen King,
Stephen King a coke addict?
Like a large portion of Stephen King's greatest works is him locked away in cabins doing too much cocaine.
What a guy.
Yeah, so I feel like if you're out there right now and you're on day 3 of your bender and you're just still going,
maybe one day you'll be Stephen King.
Well, I just feel like there's maybe like the realistic thing is you should be saying things like, "Oh, go get help." And if that's where your head's at, then go get help. But if you're not leaning on the get help and out of the game, maybe
try writing a novel.
Yeah, start writing books. So at least if you're going to be there, let's make it productive, right?
Well, I mean, even if the books are crap, at least you'll write a lot of them.
Yeah, well, then you got to start wondering, did Stephen King write good books or a lot of books?
Stephen King actually has written a ton of books. Do you know how many books he's written?
You know, the Bible and half the Quran is written by Stephen King.
Half the Quran.
Not the whole
half.
thing, yeah.
He's written like like 60 books or something, like
What?
insane like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I have actually a list on here I have a book list and I have
Yeah.
a whole section dedicated to Stephen King.
Yeah, that's what my goal is
But
right now, is to get through Stephen
the
King.
only problem with Stephen King is a lot of his greatest books are like they're full blown novels.
Yeah.
Like you're not sitting down for 2 weeks and reading that, or I'm not. Okay, here's
Yeah.
the thing for, again, like and subscribe, leave comments and shit like that if you want to talk along with us. I do see all the comments. There's so many to sift through each day of the week, but like I do see them all.
There's one from my mom.
There is?
No, probably not.
I mean,
But
I mean, I mean, I'm all, of course,
I doubt there's
I
even
saw,
that.
no, I saw that one along with the millions or hundreds of others. I'm not gonna lie, hundreds of others. But how are you able to read, like how fast can you read 1,000 pages? Paul Mozart's, he's told me he sat down for a weekend and there's this fantasy novel he likes and he read 1,300 pages.
If I'm really invested in something, I read very quickly.
I don't think that'd be possible for me. Even if I had the time and the investment, I just don't think that my brain would compute it.
Like, I don't. Yeah, okay, so how long is 1984?
That's like 300 pages, maybe a little.
No, it's not. No, that's more than 300 pages, surely.
Why don't you look? It's right there.
No, it's in the bedroom. Because I was reading it last night. I'm at a point with 1984 where it's just like a book within a book right now. Do you know what I'm talking about? When he's reading the book.
Oh, yeah.
And like I'm so invested in the other books. It's really hard to like get through this. But I know it'll be good. Anyway, I've read like fucking novels, right? And it's taken me a very long time, but that's because the novels I was reading were like old ass novels, like Victor Hugo and Tolstoy, and I was not like, I couldn't relate and was not invested. But if you gave me like the Harry Potter, all of the books, I could probably read all of the Harry Potter books within, I'm gonna say, 4 months.
Yeah, but how could you relate to Harry Potter? Are you a wizardess? Witch?
Hogwarts won't let me tell you, Muggle.
Well, my mom actually has all of the Harry Potters at her place.
Yeah.
And since we have a new bookshelf coming in,
yeah,
we should.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Put them there, and then if Juliet looks at them, be like, "These are adult books. Go read your children's stuff." And it's like the Bible. It's all this crazy hard stuff to read. Okay, well. Yeah, I don't know why I said
we were just talking about, like, I think I could, if I was, like, really invested in a book and, like, couldn't put it down, I could read it very, very quickly.
Yeah, see, I just don't think, like, one thing I've found with myself is anything I do like that, like, for example, like meditating or reading a book, I have to accept there is a point where I will just, my brain's like, yeah, no, fuck this, let's go do something. So I just don't think, even if I like had the will to, or like I'm like, oh, I want to, at a certain point I think there would be hours where other people would be reading and I'd be like, no, I gotta go not read for hours.
I don't think, like, and I don't mean this in like a literal sense, but I don't think you could sit still for that long and just like do that.
Literally, I
couldn't. But that's just also just different strokes for different folks, you know.
Okay, moving on here.
Yeah. You got some stuff to say?
I got some stuff to say. And I wish I actually put this down because I wanted it to be the first thing I said, like right after the intro, because I think it's important. But here we are, half an hour later.
Okay.
Like any good podcast, we never get where we're going on time because we're having a good time. So I wrote this to myself, and I think it's a thing that's helped me a lot. And I think our generation, all of us, not just our generation, like you and me, young people, like our kids, our parents, people that are 40, 50, like just all of us, I think your biggest regret will be the amount of time you spent looking at your phone.
Mm.
And I think it's going to be one of those things that you won't perceive it until you're really old.
Mm.
And there'll be things where we'll be like, oh, I wish I had done that. And then you'll think and you'll be like, oh, I was on my freaking phone doing
Yeah.
stuff. So I just want to say that and put that out for people to hear,
Yeah.
because it when I thought it and then I wrote it down, it made a big impact for me. And it's helped me like get off of my phone a bit more than I do. Can I have one too, please? So that's all I just want to say, and I'm going to say it again. I think your biggest regret will be the amount of time you spend on your phone when you look back at your life. So get off your phone. It's super addictive. I hate it so much, and I'm trying to be an advocate for people not to be on their phone, but it's almost I'm saying it so much for my own self-being. Which one do you want? I'll take the big one. Okay. So this is I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain this well.
Okay. Do you want to try?
Okay, so people weaponize their position and use their experience as a place of authority when discussing things. And what I mean by this, so I think this is like inevitable and natural because you can only really like view things from your perspective and experiences. But like, for example, let's say you're a doctor. You're always going to have every argument you get into. Like, let's say you're talking about how to make the country better. You're always going to be talking about it from like, the thing that we need to do better is health. And why is that? Because it's like where you come from and you like perceive everything. Whereas let's say you're like a teacher's always gonna have their like perspective of like, oh, it's got to do with health, which that makes sense, right? And so what I mean is like people weaponize their position is you naturally, because of what you do, you like always use that as your like way to base your arguments for like how things should be. So yeah, I was just, what do you think of that?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's pretty natural, right? Like, you have all of these defining factors that make you who you are, and that's going to influence every single decision you make
Yeah, it's
or opinion you have.
have I hope I haven't said this. I might have. This is the one thing that I think is hard is we're almost 100 episodes in.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes you can't remember what.
Oh yeah.
Right.
For sure.
Okay. So have I told you about the example for how you can be standing right next to someone looking at the same thing and you perceive just completely with like the watches and all that stuff? Did I talk about that on here? So I feel like that's kind of it kind of leads into all of that again. Have I talked about that on here?
Yeah, how like you can be standing looking at a piece of art and you perceive it completely different ways.
No, okay, no. I don't think I have then. Okay, so I was talking to one of my clients who's a psychologist, and we were having, this is like a more of a fun discussion. We were it was like we were talking about like perception and like all that and like how the brain perceives everything and works.
Yeah.
And what she was saying to me was to give you a proof of how your perception is shaped and it's all different for everyone. Pretend you and me are sitting on a bench looking down Lonsdale and a whole bunch of people are just walking up. Not in like this intense order. You're just like 30 people pass by in like half an hour. Okay. So one person a minute. Now, let's say I'm all about watches right now because you know my thing. I'm like, oh, I want to start collecting watches, blah, blah, blah. And let's say you are all about, I don't know, hairstyles.
Yeah.
Okay. You and me are going to see the exact same people walking up the hill. Now, assuming we're not doing an experiment where it's like, what do you perceive? We're actually just like genuinely sitting there watching. I'm going to notice all these different watches on people and, oh, well, they have that. Whereas you're going to notice their hair. And it's going to be a like way defining different feature. So you might see someone with bad hair and I might see someone with the nicest watch and they're the same person. And so it's just this whole thing of like everything you see is shaped by your perception. So like if you're it's like if you want to get a red Corolla, you're going to start noticing all the red Corollas
Yeah.
cuz you start like filtering in more of
No
that.
one wants to get a red Corolla.
Debatably or arguably, I'm pretty sure it's the most stolen car ever. So
Probably because it's so easy to break into.
no, because it's so desirable. um Anyhow, do you get like do you see
Yeah.
like the point of like what it's making though?
I get what you're saying. That's just kind of like by definition what perception is. Um and I get what you're saying because like sometimes well, I don't think I know that it's hard for people to accept that other people just have a different way of thinking. And I know that's something I had a hard time with, especially in like university and stuff like that, because I'm like, why don't people think the same as I do and have the same like values and moral code that I do? But you just got to realize that like people's brains are different, and it doesn't make like someone less or more like valuable to you, or like you less able to have a relationship with someone because you perceive things differently. And I think it's actually really beneficial to be around people that perceive things differently, because that's the only way you learn.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely you learn, and it also like if you're trying to actually find like objective reality,
Yeah.
and then knowing what we know about what you perceive
Yeah.
to be true, like affects all that, or like all like right. You have to do everything through being around different people because
Yeah.
all the time when you find out about wackos that do crazy things,
Mm-hmm.
there's always some like underlying of like they were always alone or like they were like isolated.
Yeah.
So they're like, I don't know, it's kind of like if you're trying to figure out what actual reality is, you have to be around other people with different perceptions,
Yeah.
because if you just rely on yourself, you're never going to have the true like actual answer.
Yeah, and I mean it's also a very like relevant situation today as well, because as much as like self-isolating and only seeing things from your own perspective is like harmful to you and your personal growth, it's on the same level as surrounding yourself with people that only agree with you and only
Mm-hmm.
have the same perception as you. That's, to me, that's just as detrimental to someone's like open-mindedness as self-isolating.
Yeah.
Like if you like, let's not fucking beat around the bush here. If you have a certain political opinion and you surround yourself with people who share your political sentiment, how do you ever expect to like grow as a person, just because like you can't shut down every single person who doesn't share the same opinions as you? Like
Absolutely.
I think it's a really just like I don't I ignorance not the right word, because I don't think it is ignorance. I think you're putting so much value on like a certain perception that you only want to be around people with that other same perception, and that's just not how the world is. And you can't then belittle other people for not sharing that same perception with you, because that's what ignorance is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I would like going back to like the original thing I said about like people weaponize their position through there and use that like to experience. It's just interesting because I feel like that like perfectly goes into like what I just said there, where
Yeah,
it is. It's like
100%.
it I don't know. I'm always trying to like more like step back and like view things from that like way of
Yeah.
like you're out of your perspective. But then at this, I don't know.
At the same time, it's hard though. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not like it's it's easy thing to do, and especially like if you're a sensitive or emotional person, it's kind of hard to step back from your own personal view of things.
You can't.
Well, argue. You can, and you should, but a lot of people don't, because it's like it's scary to believe that other people's minds are just like completely off the wall, right? You like, as an example, using a super extreme example, okay, like I know that tomorrow I'm gonna drive to work, do my day, like come home and whatever, but for me to go into someone else's brain, and that someone else is gonna like go drive down into Stanley Park and start stabbing people. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no comprehension of that, because you're like, what a crazy idea that someone's brain would work that way. But there are people whose brains
that
do
work
work
that
way,
way. Yeah,
and that's scary to admit. And even when it's not on that scale, even if it's like a tiny thing that someone would do different, it's still like weird to think outside of what your own brain knows.
Okay, so I'm almost done the book, the Chaos book. So I feel like mind control, I don't know, I haven't got to the very end yet, but I feel like mind control works. It's just, you have to really, like, it depends on what, like, if you're thinking of mind control, like what Hollywood perceives it as, then no, it's not a thing. But like, I don't know, it to me it seems like what Manson was able to do was he took a whole bunch of people that were in a cult, so obviously they're like super vulnerable people, right? Super easy to persuade, kind of like detached a little, like there's underlying things, but it seems like he was able to like detach them from reality via LSD. And then because of that, he could convince them to do things, which I would argue is mind control.
Yeah, it's definitely like power of influence for sure, and power of like, mind control. Yeah, that is the word to use for it.
Yeah, because like, I don't know. It was just like, I feel like it's the same thing as like when I say that I believe in telekinesis now. It's not like a hokey Hollywood thing. It's like a more real thing. So I feel like it's on that level, especially like, again, I think the biggest thing was these people were like joined a cult. So before they got all drugged up and crazy, there's obviously something wrong with them in a way where they like fled home to be like somewhere else. Yeah.
I think as well, like if you're talking about mind control, it doesn't have to be all like spooky crazy stuff. Like, those Darren Brown documentaries that we watched. Darren Brown, he's like they call him, he's not a magician, he's like a illusionist or a...
Oh yes, where he like convinces people to push them and all that. Yeah.
And he does it all through like subliminal messaging and like mind games, but it works. Like he's done some crazy stuff like through that. So, and he's like just doing it for like a documentary. So if you're doing it for the government, then I'm pretty sure they have,
because like it seems like basically the government didn't literally teach him, but they gave him all the tools and the ideas of how to do it, and then he just did it. And they took the data as opposed to like being like, we need you to go kill Sharon Tate.
He was like an experiment.
And then it makes a lot of sense. He was like, had no one to love, was in and out of prison his whole life. That's the perfect like person to kind of do that stuff to. Okay, we're gonna do a little change of pace here.
Okay, I need to go pee first.
Okay, well, you go pee, I'll go poo. No, I'll go pee too. All right, we're gonna go a little change of pace here. I thought these are just some fun things. Okay, so, first off, I just want to give some love to the foods out there that kind of look like mush or poo, but are still good. So like for example, like chili.
If your poo looks like chili, I'm like really concerned about your insides.
Well, it's mush. I'm not saying they're all poo.
Why is your poo mush?
No, I'm not talking about poo.
Your
I'm
poo should
talking
look.
about food that's like, it's more like a stuff mushed together, and it's not like aesthetically pleasing to look at,
Like a kofta kebab.
like yeah, sure. like chili, or I don't know, something with a lot of beans in it. What's it called? You make them all the time. Those chickpeas, stuff like that. Indian food, just
What is your
in
poop
general.
looking like?
In general, ta kadal or whatever it is, that stuff you like. Those all just are mushes, but they're so good. Indian food in general is a giant mush.
No.
Yeah.
Incorrect.
I'm trying to give love to these things, and you're just hating on it so hard.
No, I'm just hating on your description of it.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about foods.
Yeah, but you said that look like poo.
Or mush.
Or mash.
Or mush. And taco looks similar to poo.
Targadol looks nothing like poo. For one, it's yellow. If
It's
your poo's
yellow lentils.
Go to your doctor.
It's like watery yellow lentils.
If that's what your poo looks like, you should be concerned. You should be seriously
Guess I should have checked into the
concerned.
hospital a few weeks ago. So yeah, I'm just giving a shout out to all them. Good, thanks, Neve. But good for you guys for, even though you're ugly, you're like the ugly duckling where everyone's like, ew, cook that duck, and you're like, no, leave it, and then one day it turns into a swan and you eat it.
I don't think that's how that story ends, but sure.
I
Do you know it's actually illegal to eat swans in the UK?
Yeah, what about beat the fuck out of them?
I guess you could.
Just beat down some swans. Why is it illegal?
Because they're the queen's favorite animal. But she's dead now, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
What's the king's favorite animal?
No one cares about the kid.
Children.
Probably.
Okay. Have you heard this fact? This is a crazy fact. Have you heard it?
I don't know. Tell me what it is.
All right.
I'll see.
Well, you at home, leave a comment. Have you heard this fact yet? China has entered the dark factory age. Now, do you know what that is?
I don't know. It sounds a bit like Industrial Revolution-y.
It's pretty self-explanatory once you hear it, but so they now have full factories that run 100% automated, so there's no lights. Like, you walk into the factory and there will be robots and everything, but there's no lights because they don't need them.
Wow, those robots should definitely report their employees to HR. Like, we want better working conditions. Give us light.
I just thought it's weird because, like, that actually, the dark factory age, you know how obviously the Industrial Revolution, like all that stuff, I don't think we realize how profound it is that we've entered that age. Like, think of it.
Yeah.
How much of our stuff is factories?
Yeah.
And how many people across the planet are employed by factories?
Probably a lot less now.
Well, like 1.9 billion from China, yeah. So I think one day we'll look back and you'll be like, yo, that was crazy. Another crazy thing that we lived through at the very start of.
I don't think we'll be able to look back because robots will kill us.
Well, they'll kill you. I'll outrun them.
I'll tell you what. I want robots to put me in a zoo.
If the zoo's nice,
I want to be in a human zoo.
what would you do?
Nothing.
Just sit there?
Just hang out, dude. Put on a little show for the robot kids.
Oh, it's robots. For some reason,
yeah.
I thought it was animals wearing clothes.
Well, if it was, I'd put on a show for them too. I don't know.
News me.
I would just hang out.
Okay.
I think it's a lot better than being like a either dead or like a robot, like a slave for a robot. I'd rather be in a zoo.
Would you rather be a dog for a robot or a slave to a dog?
Other robots to a dog.
I don't.
I don't know. Would the dog take me on walks, or would the robot take me on walks?
The robot you are is a folding machine. It's its pet, so it just folds clothes. It's like an attachment.
It's not a very interesting.
No, and it talks like this. Insert more laundry.
Could I jump at the TV like Nua does?
Of course.
Then I'd probably do that.
Okay, this is a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
If you could take someone from the Middle Ages and bring them into the future and show them one place and item, where and what would it be?
A flushing toilet.
Where?
Anywhere. There's a flushing toilet. A flushing toilet at an airport.
They'd be like, Huggy, there's metal horses, and they'd be like praying to the toilet and drinking out of it.
They'd be like, my poop just disappeared. And then I'd be like, yo, dude, that's not even the best part. I'd take him outside and he sees a plane. Probably dies of a heart attack or something.
No, but the thing is, you can't. You would just be in the airport showing him the toilet. That's all he'd get to see.
What about the airplane toilet?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, then you've blown this guy's head off.
Yeah.
You killed him. You killed him. You sick son of a bitch.
I want to see the light drain from his eyes.
Like, what? I mean,
sorry.
I would argue that the Middle Ages needed toilets the most out of all the time periods.
Exactly.
They could have used the toilets the most. Yeah.
Honestly, you bring a person from the Middle Ages anywhere that's not the Middle Ages, they'd be like, "Oh my god, it like smells like clean. I can breathe."
I think I would take someone to. I'd go like, what's the most futuristic city? Like, I'd take him to like Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah.
And what would I show them?
Show him the rotating sushi belts.
I know what I'd show him. I'd show him a picture of a Pikachu and say, "This is our god," and that's it.
The sushi belts would have been way more fun.
No, because then you'd have to explain sushi, and then they'd be like, "What's sushi?" And you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, there's so many different types." And you'd explain nigiri, and they'd be like, "What's nigiri?" And you're like, "Do you even know how to make like sushi rice?" And they'd be like, "No."
Right, but explaining Pikachu God would be way easier.
Yeah, because they'd go, "What is this?" You go, "He's God, and he's the thunder god."
Okay, I mean, fair.
Okay. I had this one. This one's so dumb. It's just facts. No, I'm not gonna bring that up.
Changed your mind?
Yeah, I changed my mind. I have a question for you.
Okay.
What makes wind?
The weather.
Is it just a fat guy farting?
No.
Well.
That was a good, sick question.
Well then, I guess it's time to bring back Person of the Week.
No.
Person of the Week.
We're not doing Person of the Week.
Person of the Week is gone. All right, it's our new segment.
What is it? Oh, Canadian news?
Canada This Week.
Oh, Canada This Week. This Week in Canada.
This Week in Canada.
So I actually discovered when I was looking for this stuff is that, the crazy shit happens in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like Saskatchewan is the Florida of Canada.
I mean, I don't want to say no, but I do think that they say Saskatchewan is the butthole of Canada. So I feel like Florida is the butthole of... Yeah, okay.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
Not wrong, dude. Not wrong. Oh, I hate...
Did you know the largest inbred communities in Canada all reside in Saskatchewan?
Is that a lie?
I don't know.
Did you just make it up?
Let's just. What have we said? What have we said on this podcast? We are not the purveyors of truth. If you don't like what we say, look it up for yourself.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I've got mine.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go first, or should I go first?
I didn't do one this week. It was all on you for week 1.
What?
Yeah, I was busy getting milk.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want
Yeah.
to hear mine then?
Yeah.
A goat was arrested after walking into a Saskatchewan Tim Hortons, refusing to leave. He was very unhappy. Do you want me to go a bit more into this?
Of course.
Or is the headline enough?
Wait. Yeah,
read
go
the
on.
headline
No, I
again?
just
Do you want me
okay.
to repeat the headline? Okay. Goat arrested after walking into Saskatchewan Tim Hortons, refusing to leave. He was very unhappy.
So wait, was the goat like they're like get out of here? And he's like, no.
He's like, give me a London fog.
Yeah, fog. Timbits.
Okay. Officers were called to Martinsville, Saskatchewan, Tim Hortons, to remove a goat that refused to leave. As reported by the National Post, he was very unhappy with this, so the members decided to take him home instead of holding cells at detachment. So the Tim Hortons people took the goat home.
So like,
Because he was very unhappy with being arrested. I mean, aren't we all?
so like, was that the biggest news in Saskatchewan this month? It sounds like it's up there.
I actually lied because as I read further down, it was in 2015. So it's not this.
No. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
It's all this segment is just funny headlines. We're not worried.
The funniest news headlines from across the country. I was on Reader's Digest.
I thought that was a good one. That's all we're asking.
Do you want to hear another one from Saskatchewan?
Okay, let's keep picking on Saskatchewan because I love it.
Saskatchewan ranchers stunned as beaver herds 150 cattle. I don't think Nuo could herd one cattle, and she's literally a cattle dog.
Yeah, but she could probably herd 100 beavers.
She could herd anything if you put effort into it. I just don't think she would.
You know what I realized actually yesterday with Nuo walking her? Nuo, do you know how she does her growls when she chases dogs and she snaps her teeth a bit?
Yeah.
That's all just like...
Herding dog.
But
That's
like she
normal.
has no clue what to do if she catches the dog.
Oh, yeah. I know.
That's what I realized. Because
Yeah.
like she'd be like... "Rah, rah, rah," and it does. If you see her teeth are barred and she snaps, but she never bites. She's just snapping because she's like, she's chasing, having fun. But usually Nuo isn't as, sorry, I hate to say this, Nuo. My dog's looking at me as I say this.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the fastest dog I've ever seen. Not even close.
Wow, she looks really upset right now.
Damn, I don't know if I should have said that.
You probably shouldn't have said that.
I'm sorry, you were 8 out of 9 on the obesity scale a few months ago. You can't expect to be fast. It's just not fair. You can't be 8 out of 9 obese and really fast. If that was possible, I think more people would be doing it.
She used to be a lot faster, but she's, aging and fat now, so.
Anyhow, there was these two little shit looking dogs. No, like they're little shits, but they're cute, but they're like little like yappy little and Nuo chased after them, and she finally was able to like catch up to these dogs like really quick, and I realized she was like rah, rah, and then the person was kind of like oh, and I was like, oh, don't worry, she's just being loud.
Yeah.
And I realized that like Nuo could have easily ripped these dogs to shreds if she had any clue what she was doing. But as soon as she got close to them, it was like this like, I've never been here before. Like, what am I supposed to do? This herding thing is a lot crazier than I thought. Yeah. So anyhow, Nuo.
Nuo, you're You can't do the herd and
You
the
can
beaver can.
no. That's nice. Honestly, hearing those two headlines makes me go, Saskatchewan might not be that bad.
I would like to visit Saskatchewan for sure.
Well, I think you drive through Saskatchewan and it's the most boring experience of your life, but you're like, oh, that was crazy. It was all cornfields and flat. Have you not heard Saskatchewan jokes?
No.
You can see your dog run away for 3 days.
It's flat?
Yeah.
I guess it's flat.
Yeah. You're like, Sparky, get back here. And then for 3 days, he's coming back. You just see him running across the fields. Well, that's good. I like that. I promise for next week, I'm going to come with some ammunition. It was just hard to get it loaded for this week. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That was a sweet segment. I hope you all enjoyed it. Leave us some comments if you find any wacky headlines, or if actually, you know what? Tell me what you really think is Saskatchewan. The listener, not you. I know I'm looking at you as
I
I
was
said
like,
that.
I don't know. I've never been.
Cool. Do you want to move on to our buy and sells?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right. So my buy of the week was the week being done, and yours was girls' trip to Arizona.
Yep.
And then so what's your buy of the week?
I just went. You have to go.
What? What was your buy?
No, I just did the whole last segment, so you have to start this one.
Okay. Can I just every week do work being done as my buy? Oh, I know. My buy of the week has been Severance.
The movie?
The show.
TV show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you that have Apple TV, first off, I'm just going to give Apple TV a shout out because.
What, the one show that's on there is good?
And Ted Lasso.
Okay, the two shows that are on there is good?
And it looks like the other ones have potential.
Maybe.
I'm just going to my buy is Severance. I just feel like one of my favorite shows is, it has to be done right or else it's just fucking stupid, but shows where you're literally going like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
But in a like productive, interesting way, because it's super easy to make it dumb and you're just like literally like, what the fuck is this?
Like Robot
But
Chicken.
Debatable. I'm not gonna argue with you over, but yeah, sure. But yeah, like this is the whole time we're on season 2 now, and the whole time I've constantly been confused as to where things are going.
I have no idea what's happening.
But I'm so intrigued by it. My only fear is it's gonna
Yeah.
be lost.
Yeah.
And like where's it going? It's like it's not
It's
going
not.
anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. Yeah, I feel like this one actually has direction though. With Lost, the thing was, I think they just kind of started making the first season and put a load of random shit in there and had zero follow through throughout the whole rest of the seasons.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure, like, to be fair, it was a classic, like, in the boom of network TV, where it was like, pump out stuff, and you just keep going until the ratings die. And Lost was perfect because it never fully made sense.
Yeah.
Because they were like, yo, everyone's like,
so
where could this go? And the writers were like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I don't know where this could go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mine was Severance.
Okay. That's a good one. My buy of the week, I think, would be, I had a really fun weekend with Juliet. We had a little mother-daughter weekend, and we did painting, and we were outside, and we went swimming, and yeah, we just had a really good time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Your cell was airport prices, and mine was the soaking wet soccer 7 aside.
Okay.
My sell of this week, I'm gonna go sell on people just complaining about things that are just like not real complaints. and I can't get into it because it's just mostly my clients. But I felt like that a lot of people I had to deal with this week. I always, with my job, I always have time for people when they're like complaining stuff because it's kind of like therapy / it's nice. And it's like, it's just like, it's cool. You're helping them out by listening. But it's really hard to hear people complain when it's like, it's not an actual reason and things are fine. And you're just kind of like, I feel like you're like choosing to be negative.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to sell people choosing negative.
Okay, that's a good one. I'm gonna sell what do I have to sell? I don't know. I don't know what my sell is this week. Oh, my boss giving me a heart attack about lying about our tacos.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's my sell. Bad April Fool's joke.
All right. Well, it's 11 o'clock. I don't know about you, but my nipples are a bit chafed. And
You wanna wrap it up?
So we should probably wrap it up.
Nipples do get chafed when you're potting.
All right. So we'll see y'all next week. We hope you liked the new segment and the intro and the outro. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Can you say elephant?
Otter.
What about otter?
Otter.
Octopus?
Uppish.
How about moose?
No.
No?
No.
What about Nunu?
No.
Do you love your mom?
Mom.
Yeah. Aw,
I
that's
love
nice.
you too, JJ.